enemy sunshine, what have you done to me? Whoa, the enemy sunshine, what have you done to me? Make me live my life in wonder and misery.
Welcome, everybody. This is Diamond Bob Pirro, and we're here at veteransadvice.com, and I'm in the studio with producer Joe Morgan.
Hey, Joe.
My
howdy.
co-host, Paul Farman, the greatest drummer in the whole wide world.
That's what I say.
And me, Diamond Bob Pirro, and we want to welcome you to, it's February the 10th, 2022. We haven't been in the studio for a while for certain reasons, and one of them, I was in the hospital for 2 months, but we can talk about that later. And this is actually our Valentine edition, and we have a very, very special guest in the studio today. Her name is Karen McGrath. Hello, Karen.
Hi, thank you for having me.
And Karen's going to talk to us about receiving what she went through to receive some benefits, survival benefits for spouses when her husband, Lynn McGrath, we called him Mac, he was a Marine, and he was in Bahrain and Iran, and he passed away. And he's a very good friend of mine, and so is Karen. And so we're going to let Karen kind of talk about what she went through after Lynn passed away, because when this happens, you're emotionally distraught. So, Karen, could you kind of take us through this thing for a bit?
Sure. Let me start back a little ways with him, as far as he had been in the hospital getting ready to have his second above the knee amputation. And when he came out of it, he wasn't himself. He had some delusions and that sort of thing. And I went to the service officer, the veteran service officer, and met with her to say, how can I get him set up with some aid and attendance? Because coming home, I know it's going to be a challenge with no legs, and how am I going to deal with that?
And when was this, may I ask?
This was in June of 2018.
Okay, yeah.
And so she gave me basically a checklist of things that, should it all go south, here's what I'm going to need, and here's what we're going to do, and she would get everything started for me. And so it wasn't like we were anticipating his death. Sorry for...
It's okay.
But he never got better. He kept getting worse, and he got infections and that sort of thing. And long story short, October 6th, 2018, he passed away.
Yeah.
And so I got my checklist out, and I was in got to take care of everything mode. It's like do it all right now, get it all done. And I went and met with the service officer. And one thing I do want to say to spouses, veteran spouses, is talk to your military person and find out if they know what they're entitled to as far as benefits, if they've applied for them. My husband was, when he got his 100% disability rating, he was entitled to a bump in life insurance. I don't know for sure that the service officer at that time told him that. because there's a 2-year window to file for that. And it expired in May, and he died in October. And so, therefore, there was 0 life insurance to be paid to me because he didn't file for it. He didn't claim it. And my understanding is that he would have been eligible for like $40,000. So it's like...
That would have really helped, too.
It would have immensely helped. And not only just me, but it would have allowed me to maybe gift some to his children. They're adult children, but even so. As it was, there was nothing. It's like, I'm sorry, there's nothing to divide up.
Wow.
And I kind of fault myself a little bit for not talking to him about it, because I went with you're a grown-up, you've been in the military, handle your business, and I never really got into any of his VA stuff. I wish I had, but I kind of think, this is just me in the back of my mind, is that he may not have wanted to face that,
reality.
Exactly. And there may be some PTSD involved. It's like, the least amount of interaction I have with the VA or paperwork or anything, because I couldn't get him to pay a bill even. It's like, hey, could you participate in paying bills? No.
Not to make you feel bad, but I talked to him about his VA life insurance.
Well, but
and you're right. He's kind of poo-pooed it because I don't know why, but
yeah. Well, and if he had mentioned it to me, then I could have, maybe followed up with him. But it's water under the bridge at this point. But I will say that the VA will require a death certificate. They'll require a copy of his DD-214, a copy of our marriage certificate. There was several things, but they have a checklist for you. So it's you're not flying blind, and especially during the time when you can't think straight, it helps to have something to check off. But they were extremely helpful. The VA sent me a letter, well, it might have been a month or so, maybe more, after he passed away. But
so maybe in December of 18 or January of 19?
Well, I'll tell you, it was March of 19.
Oh, okay, so it was...
It was a little bit, yeah. But they covered everything as far as his eligibility to be buried in the National Cemetery, all of the things that he was entitled to, in that regard, a death benefit, and the fact that I would now be entitled to insurance, access to the base exchange. I would be eligible, since we had never used it, for a VA loan.
To buy a house.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 0 down VA loan, purchase a house, which I think that is really great.
Yeah, it would be if in California you could afford to buy a house.
Yeah, right now. That's for sure.
It's just nuts.
So who actually called you? Somebody from Veterans Affairs?
No one called me.
Okay.
I went to the Placer County in California, the Placer County Veterans Service Office.
Right.
In Rockland?
In Rockland.
Did you talk to Tierra?
No, I talked to Susie at the time. It was it was Susie. But yeah, she took care of everything for me.
Okay.
So yeah, she was very helpful. And then on the same note, though, I just wanted to mention really quickly the Social Security stuff. It's like make sure that you apply for that as well. My husband was getting Social Security disability, so the benefit of that is that we as a spouse are entitled to that if we're not already claiming Social Security on our own. So
Right.
Okay, so you are you getting anything from the VA now or no?
yes, he was getting, like I said, 100%
Right.
disability. I'm getting approximately one half of that.
Beautiful.
And then I get his Social Security disability check.
Now,
And that's 100%. That is because that's
Yes, I get his full check with the Social Security.
right.
Yeah.
That's Social Security
Until
federal. Right.
I decide to apply for it on my own. And then once I, apply for my own Social Security account, then his goes away.
okay, so let's go through this. I want to make sure I got this in my mind. So you're entitled to a zero down VA loan to purchase a home.
Yes.
You're entitled to that. Mm-hmm. You're entitled to get a card that takes you on to the base so you can buy things at a discount or whatever.
Commissary, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, BX Commissary. They got one at Beale. They got one down at McClellan. Are you entitled to? Well, you talked about the insurance that's there, but something is in my mind until I got a buzz in my ear. But anyway, there's certain things that people don't understand, like you say, filing for it, going to the VSO, and they should be able to help you with all these things because they have the checklist they have too, and they are trained to do this for somebody. And Tiara Brown, the young lady that was in here on the podcast though too,
A couple months ago.
a couple months ago, she is our go-to gal.
Right.
So right now, is there anything that you think is not being covered for you right now?
I don't feel like there is, and it may be that I don't even know it's available, but I'm pretty positive in the letter that I received from the VA. It's not just a letter. It's, I don't know.
Is there anything about medical in there?
Well, that's part of the insurance.
It looks about 10 pages.
Yeah, at least.
Double-sided. So
Yeah.
There's about 20.
So,
I'm looking at it right here.
yeah. But it talks about being eligible for benefits under CHAMP VA?
CHAMP VA, yeah. So you'll be. Did you file for any of that?
No, because I have insurance provided through my retirement from the state. So,
but if somebody wasn't as smart as you and worked for the state and get some benefits, that CHAMP VA is a real thing because it provides them with medical benefits, so they don't have to run around with Medicare, Medicaid, and
right.
all that kind of happy stuff.
There's also had I had dependents that were like of school age. There's also VA education benefits for myself as well as for dependents. So that's also a benefit that's available.
Now, Diamond, you mentioned the VSO, just so our listeners know what that stands for. Can you enlighten us on what that is again, VSO?
That is a Veterans Service Officer.
Okay.
And ours is in Rockland on Sunset Boulevard, 1000 Sunset Boulevard, and that's where Tiara resides.
So if they're in Sacramento or maybe listening in Ohio right now, they would just maybe Google Veterans Service Officer on Google, and that should pop up
for their county.
For their county, right?
Right.
Okay, I just wanted to make that clear.
But they have to listen to the podcast because I've had veterans call me, and some of these VSOs, they're like everybody else. Some people are good at their job. Some people are fantastic at their job. And some people need to walk out the front door of their job.
They ain't worth a flip. That's what we used to say in Tennessee.
What?
They ain't worth a flip.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? Joe's over there laughing because he knows the guys they talk to him all the time about that stuff. So the thing that I know right now with us in this county, we have a godsend. I think that angel dropped her into that office because I had helped me, and then went and got booted. That they hired Tiara.
Yeah, she's wonderful.
And she was brand new, and and
we had her on the podcast.
Two.
Yeah, number 2 podcast, which is listed on our YouTube channel.
One thing I'm going to add is I highly recommend going and seeing somebody, like you're saying, go to your local VSO. But if it doesn't feel right, call the county next to you, call somebody else, and see if they say the same things, because maybe you get a little extra information. It never hurts to talk to 2-3 people. Keep asking until you get the answers that you want.
Yep. Or you can call Diamond Bob.
Right. Well, we have our email, which is veteransadvice@gmail.com.
Yeah, we have that.
And that's listed on the podcast.
Yeah, I've been checking that. I really haven't received anything on that email. We'll have to, because I think it's so small at the bottom. Never mind. We'll figure it out.
Well, I think it's also because so far we have local listeners and they all know you, Bob.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
They just call you.
Yeah. They just call you or text you.
Well, I've known Karen, and I know her husband. He was a solid, good friend of mine. And I asked Karen to come in here and do this. And I know it's pulling at her heartstrings, but, she just gave us a lot of information to share with the veterans and their spouses. And actually, this show is for the spouses of veterans, so they know what's available to them and their children if something happens to their husband who is 100% disabled or not. They still have to go in and put in for these benefits, because that's a lot of money that can help out. It's around $1,700 tax-free a month, and that's add another 30% on that. That's what you would have to make. Plus, I think they got a 5.9% increase
this year
on that. Yeah, so I was talking to Karen about that. She's going to check that for me, so we know if it's right or not. But go ahead, Joe.
Well, I was going to ask Karen, so that is for the life of the spouse, all of the benefits that you've mentioned. Is that correct?
It is, unless, and that's a really good point. Should I remarry, those benefits go away.
Then don't get married.
That's it. No, I mean that's just the fact of the matter. It's like you're no longer a veteran spouse, So that goes away. Social Security goes away. It's like you get remarried, and that all goes away. So
yeah,
think long and hard about whether your spouse is going to bring that much to the table.
Yeah, there you go. Do you have anything else you needed to add while we're here? I mean, we're here. We might as well.
Let's see.
Actually, I have one other question. You talked about the national cemeteries and the authorization to do, to be buried there. Was that something you actually talked to Lynn about beforehand? Is that what he wanted?
Yes.
And is that something that you would recommend for, I guess, can you walk me through the process
Sure,
of how
absolutely.
that works?
Absolutely. Actually, you need to apply for it so that you get approval as a veteran to be buried there. And your spouse can be buried there as well. Mm-hmm. So we both applied, and we were both accepted. It's at no cost to the family at all to be buried there. Now, your mortuary fees, that's all on you. The VA doesn't pay for that. They will reimburse you, and that's what I was talking about, the death benefit. They will reimburse you up to $2,000 on your mortuary fees. So like your casket and the preparation of the body and all that sort of thing. And the like for me, the travel from the mortuary to the cemetery. It was a long distance from Rockland to Dixon, where the National Cemetery is located. You're allowed basically 15 minutes for the service because they have so many burials to do, unfortunately, every day, that they really just funnel people in and out. They promise to have them buried by sunset that day, which they do. You get the full service, whatever you require. I mean, you have to request, like the branch of the service that your spouse was in, you have to request with them that they come out and do like the flag ceremony and taps and the gun salute. You have to coordinate all that with
the sergeant of arms.
Well, there's a coordinator at the cemetery, and then there's somebody that needs to be contacted for the branch of the service. Now, the mortuary that we went through did that for me, so I didn't have to contact. Lynn had a close friend that we went to high school with that was involved with the what was that called, Bob? The motorcycle group, the
Veterans Motorcycle Group?
The Warriors, I want to say Patriot Warrior. That wasn't it. I can't think of the name of it right offhand. But he got a motorcycle escort.
Oh, okay.
With the flags. And,
yeah.
I mean, because, quite frankly, I wanted every possible thing that he was entitled to to happen. Every honor, every ceremony, I wanted it all.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, that was a really good question, but I hope I answered it for you.
Yeah, there's a Veterans Motorcycle Club. They come to our ceremonies in Lincoln.
Patriot Guard.
Patriot Guard Riders. I literally just looked it up. Patriot Guard Riders.
Yeah.
Where are they? Where's their chapter located? I
have no idea. I found patriotguard.org as the only point of contact I'm looking at right here. I could look further, but that's what I got right now.
That's good.
That's good information there.
Yeah, that was wonderful that he put me in contact with the person that I needed to talk to arrange that. And they stand at the ceremony with flags. You know, they stand at attention. It was a great honor. Yeah.
Well, is there anything else?
No, I don't think I have any.
This was some great information, guys.
Yeah, we thank you. And
really good.
I'm going to end the show by talking about Fred Feister Construction Company that sent us $2,000 donation to the VFW in Lincoln,
California,
to help with our veterans that are local that need help and their families. So I want to give a shout out to Feister Construction in Watsonville, California, and we appreciate your donation.
Yeah, that was nice.
And I've been helping a veteran, and he's listened to our show. His name is Chuck Barnett, and he finally got 80% disability.
Yeah. Nice.
And we're working on his unemployability, which will give him 100%. So this podcast is getting the word out, and we're starting to help veterans. So if you listen to this, please subscribe, and then we'll make sure we get these benefits out. Anything you got to say, Paul?
When are we going to do the next one? Are we going to do a remote, or are we going to wait until?
I'm going to talk to the Inspector General of Beale and see if we can do a remote either there or at the VFW Hall. I already got a permission to go ahead and we can do it in there.
In about a month.
In Lincoln.
From now.
In March sometime.
Okay.
Maybe I'll do it on my birthday.
There you go. Are you going to be? You're going to be what? 50 or 40, 49?
Yeah. Add 24 onto it.
Can I interject something just real quick? When you were mentioning about the veteran that got his 80% and that sort of thing, I just want to say to your listeners that Bob was instrumental in making sure, or getting my husband's butt kicked, basically, to get him to file for the benefits that he deserved and he should have. And if not for Bob's
tenacity
with
that's
that,
what he does. That's what he does.
I wouldn't be able to live where I live. I wouldn't, that money wouldn't be there.
Right.
I wouldn't be able to stay in the house that my husband and I lived in. So, I am so grateful for his dedication to the veterans and wanting to see them get their full benefits. So thank you, Bob. I appreciate you so much.
You're welcome. I love you, and I loved Mac, even though he was an ornery old guy. I loved him anyway because I know that's how Marines are.
We're looking at one right now, our producer, Joe Morgan.
So something she just said that I really want to hit on again, hit it with a bat if I could. Getting your benefits isn't only about you. It's about your spouse. It's about your children. It's about everyone you're going to leave behind, and it really is important to them. So don't be selfish and try to be tough and not do it because of some bravado that we all think we have. So I'm preaching at this point, but do it for the people you care about, even if you don't care about yourself.
Thank you. And we the last podcast, we went through that a lot, and we all talked about that. And there's so many veterans that are not getting the help. I can tell you right now, I'm helping another one, a new one now, and I helped two other ones that I don't even talk about because it's something that disturbs me sometimes that our veterans, combat veterans that weren't in combat that are service connected with something, they don't want to get the help because they think they don't deserve it, and they want somebody who's hurt worse get the benefit instead of them. Listen, we said this before. The government has a lot of this money. If we don't get it and spend it on our veterans, guess what politicians do? They allocate it somewhere else.
Yes.
Don't let this happen. This is the money you deserve. And I talked to a guy at McClellan last week when I was there. His leg was amputated, and I talked to him, and he's in the security forces just like me. He was at Pleiku Air Base in Vietnam, and he got some benefits, but he didn't know what all his benefits were. So I'm talking to his daughter right now to kind of
helping her. Yeah.
But a lot of people don't want it. I told them everything with me is confidential. I don't spread my stuff with anybody. We just talk about it. I help you get on the right path. And then when that happens, then I'm done. You know what I mean? I don't use your name or whatever for anything.
It's out of your hands. But that's great. Okay,
all right.
guys.
Yep. So I think we're about done, and I really want to say to Karen, our special guest, that you gave us a lot of good information to pass on.
Yeah,
to.
thank you, Karen. That's great.
Thank
Wonderful.
you.
Yay, Karen.
Yep.
All righty, Joe. Let's go.
Great.
Vietnamese sunshine, what have you done to me? Whoa, we enemy sunshine.